What is up everyone, Phil here for KO Gaming, and welcome to the Hateful Truth Rebooted, where I give you maximum truth and minimum bullshit regarding the latest video game releases in this ongoing review series. Today we're going to be talking about my very first new game review for the year of 2016, Naruto Shippuden Ultimate Ninja Storm 4. Ultimate Ninja Storm 4 picks up where 3 left off back in 2013 by continuing and concluding the major plotline of the Naruto Shippuden manga, as well as adding in a pretty lengthy and interesting RPG-esque adventure mode, and of course your online battles are there as well. Major warning for anyone who has not seen the conclusion of the Naruto Shippuden storyline yet, this video review will obviously feature gameplay of characters from the game that are present in the story, so if you do not want to be spoiled in any way, shape, or form, do not watch this review. However, I will be doing my best to stay away from story spoilers so that if you do want to read the manga, watch the anime, or play this game, you'll still be able to experience the story and not feel spoiled. As always, the core of the Naruto Shippuden series is the combat, and all the fun game mechanics from Ninja Storm 3 make a return in 4. You've got your melee attacks leading into deluxe combos, whether you hold up and down on the thumbstick while you do them. You've got your ranged kunai attacks that can be powered up with chakra. You've got your ninjutsu attacks. You've got your assists that can come in and help you during a fight. Of course, during the fight, you can rejuvenate your chakra. You can dodge around. You can use your substitutions to replace your body with a piece of wood so you can escape a combo. You've got throws, and yes, you've got your super powered ultimate and link attacks, just like in Ninja Storm 3. So all those game mechanics make a return. I'll be honest, it's a little bit cluttered at this point with the amount of stuff that they've jammed into the Ninja Storm series, with multiple bars and meters and assist gauges and things going crazy up on the screen at all times. But once you play the game for a little bit, you start to get used to it, and it's pretty much just as fun, if not a little bit too similar to the gameplay of Ninja Storm 3. Now, the story of Ultimate Ninja Storm 4 is way more abridged than the one of 3, and does a good job of cutting out a lot of the filler. I remember 3 years ago being very drawn out and having a lot of heavy dialogue and over-dramatized scenes in Ninja Storm 3, as well as having a lot of wandering around and a lot of stuff that really I felt could have been cut out and made it a little bit more faster paced. They did a good job of that in Ninja Storm 4, even though you do have a large 3-pronged and 3-tiered adventure that spans some 8 to 10 hours of gameplay. You're still gonna get the critical story points of everything going on during the story of Naruto Shippuden. You're not going to really miss out on anything too major. Of course, keep in mind, I hadn't read the manga, so maybe there were a few points here or there that were cut out, but being a newcomer to the end of the Naruto franchise, it made sense to me concretely. I enjoyed it, and I think that the story mode was actually pretty well done. The only complaint I really have is that they don't do a good job of explaining how to do the more advanced mechanics of the game. I felt near the end of the game I was having a lot of issues fighting off and winning against the final bosses. Another complaint I have is that unfortunately when you lose in the story mode, the game doesn't give you the option to just retry from the start. Instead, you get auto-revived and get a choice of either having higher defense or doing more damage. I would have liked it if I could have just reset it and started it from the beginning. The game does not give you that option, and that did kind of irk me, and in a lot of ways it led me to get lower grade rankings than I would have liked. Outside of story mode, there's also adventure mode, which is an open world RPG-esque romp throughout the entire Naruto universe. You'll be going to different ninja villages and other epic locations. You'll be reliving some of the classic and most momentous fights of the entire Naruto series. Ultimately, is it anything to write home about? Not really, and it certainly isn't canon with the mainstream story of Naruto, but it certainly adds in a ton of extra gameplay and replayability with its collection quests, its additional combat, and a lot of collectibles that are unlocked through the story that you can finally utilize in this mode. You could almost argue that this is the meat of the game, but I'm wondering if many people who buy the game will bother playing through the entirety of this mode when it really is kind of a throwaway mode, just thrown in there to say, oh, there's more gameplay than just the base story and the online gameplay itself. So now let's get to that online gameplay component, which quite honestly was surprisingly smooth whenever I got it to work. So allow me to explain. In about the 45 minutes that I tried to play this game online, 50% of the time it worked and the matches were smooth, almost purely lag-free, and although I'll admit I really suck at this game and don't understand the high-level mechanics, it was functional and it certainly was worth your time. The problem was, the other half of the time that I tried to play the game online, I just got kicked back to the PS4 dashboard with the game completely crashing. This is completely unacceptable for a full retail release. Obviously, there should have been some testing involved to see that half the time you want to play the game online, you're going to get kicked out of it. And they should be patching this hopefully soon. And quite honestly, if CyberConnect 2 does not patch this within the next week or two, that is completely unacceptable. And I'm going to be honest, if you're going to buy this game for the online component, I'm going to tell you to wait. There's no reason right now to buy this game just to be sitting there and wasting half of the time that you want to play getting kicked out of a crashed game. For a full retail release, this is unacceptable, it's embarrassing, and I can't believe that this game was actually brought to market with an issue like this. Pretty bad and pretty just disappointing. So let's talk positives and negatives. Positives for Naruto Shippuden Ultimate Ninja Storm 4? Well, 3 completely separate game modes, all of which could give you some big replayability and a lot of enjoyment. The fact that the graphics of this game look much better on these next generation consoles than they did on the previous gen with far fewer frame rate drops, that's pretty cool. I like that they made the story way more abridged, cut out a lot of the filler that took up way too long in Ninja Storm 3. The adventure mode is a good addition and a lot of extra gameplay, and the online component, when it works, is lag-free and seamless. But now let's talk about the negatives. The fact that this adventure mode really is just filler, and unless you really want to relive all of the original battles of Naruto, there's really no reason to play it. The fact that the online gameplay component crashes constantly for a retail game, completely unacceptable. And also the fact that, again, the story mode doesn't really teach you the advanced techniques that you need to be good in the game. And it's funny because as I was playing this game online, here I am doing the substitutions to escape my opponent's attacks, and immediately the opponents are hitting me again, and I'm like, I don't understand what I'm supposed to be doing here. This didn't happen in the story mode. And of course everyone in my stream chat saying, well, this is a more advanced component, you really need to learn that by yourself. And I'm like, I wish they could have at least taught me more basics than just what each button does, and kind of taught me a few more advanced things. And this was an issue back with Ninja Storm 3 as well. The game doesn't go far enough into a competitive level tutorial to let you actually know how to play the game at a higher level. That is a major gripe, especially for a game that most people buy for the online component. I think that they should do a better job of that, but ultimately most people have probably played the other games in this series before and aren't going to have the same problems that I had when I tried to play. So ultimately, Ninja Storm 4 is a mixed bag. The improved graphics, the more streamlined story mode are just some of the big positives. Of course, the online issues are just unacceptable. And when you actually look at the big picture, you have to realize something. This game really hasn't changed too much from Ninja Storm 3. So if you're a huge fan of the Naruto franchise and you want to see the conclusion of the Shippuden storyline and you're waiting for the anime to end and it's just taking forever with too many fillers, this is probably the way for you to get your satisfaction right now. But if you're actually looking to buy this game for the online gameplay, you probably are going to want to skip it until it gets patched. But ultimately, when I review games, I'm not just reviewing it for the fanboy of the franchise, I'm reviewing it against all the other games out there. And although that Naruto Shippuden Ultimate Ninja Storm 4 has tons of content, the content isn't very revolutionary. It's kind of been there, done that. Ultimately, everything is combat when it comes down to it, and the combat really didn't evolve any from the last game. This really feels like the same game part 2, which is fine, again, for hardcore fans of the series, but I can't imagine anyone who is not a fan of Naruto wanting to play this game. Ultimately, when I do review games, I have to weigh and balance them in comparison with everything else that's out there. And the overall gameplay of Naruto Shippuden Ultimate Ninja Storm 4 certainly is not gripping. It's not anything really revolutionary or interesting. It doesn't really even stand out. It just continues what's been done in the past. So it is a lot of gameplay, but it has an online component that's broken. There's some things that are better. There are some things that are worse. And in comparison with everything else out there, and of course some of the great games that we're looking forward to this year, ultimately I have to give this game a score of 7.75 out of 10. It's not terrible, it's not great, it's just kind of in the middle there. It certainly isn't a bad game. It's probably a huge game. I would say if you are a huge fan of the Naruto Shippuden series, you're probably going to say, oh, this is a 9 or a 10, because you're just so happy to finally see that storyline end. But for the rest of us, I give it a 7.75, and that is the score that I feel is appropriate. Thanks for watching, everyone, and I sure hope that you enjoyed this game review. If you did, please check the description of the video for a link that'll send you over to my Raw gameplay channel, DSP Gaming, where you can check out the full playthrough of Naruto at your own leisure. Also, please check out our Amazon Associates link in the description of the video, and also check out our Patreon at patreon.com/DarksidePhil. Thanks for watching, and we'll see you next time on The Hateful Truth.